Hello everybody, my name's Celia Bray, and in this video I'm going to be telling you a little bit about myself so that you can get a feel for my qualifications and my background so that you can get a sense of what feels right for you about whether I would be a good person for you to work with or not. It's really important that you trust your instincts, and you need to get to know me before you can decide whether I'm the right person for you to work with. So I am a psychologist and I own a psychology business called Somatic Psychology. And I have been working for over 25 years in private practice psychology. I'm a Gestalt therapist, also acceptance and commitment therapy, which is a mindfulness-based and action-based process. And I was really enjoying my work, but I felt like there was often something missing in terms of working with people. And when so I've worked internationally doing community development and leadership program design as well, because I'm really passionate about all the systems and all the ways that we can be connected to our authentic self. So one of those places I ended up working was in Kenya. And there was a terrorist attack in Kenya while I was there in Nairobi that killed 68 people. And I really wanted to create a trauma healing program for the victims of the terrorist attack. And I realized that in Kenya, a lot of people are not comfortable sharing their stories verbally, but an embodied practice would be a really interesting and helpful way for people to heal from the impact, because our body remembers what happens to us in a way that's even more accurate than our minds. And so we don't always need the story of what happened or the memory of what happened, because it's already in our body. So if we know how to access and understand our body's experience of what happened, then that's how we can heal trauma. So I decided I wanted to create a workshop that was based on using the wisdom of the body, and somatic means body, and our experience of ourselves through our body. So a somatic trauma healing workshop. So I brought in some practitioners. I had a Gestalt therapist colleague there, and also brought in a 5 rhythms heartbeat teacher. 5 rhythms is a movement process that was created by Gabrielle Roth that I absolutely loved, around the dance and movement as a way of broadening self-awareness and trusting your body. And I also worked with this team, and we ran a 3-day embodied trauma healing workshop, and it was incredibly successful. And I was asked after that to run a workshop for counselors and psychologists that have been working with victims of the terrorist attack. And that just catapulted me into, well, I better get trained in this a lot, and if I'm going to be offering this myself. And so I ended up doing open floor movement teacher training and therapy in motion practitioner training. And I've been fascinated with the body's ability to support our healing ever since. I've won awards for the programs that I've designed in Australia and internationally for the community around supporting people with their capacity to trust their own ideas and to make a difference in their community, as well as the participants of my programs winning awards for their projects that they created through the work that I've done with them. So I have a lot of different experience, all of it around creating safe space for people to be their authentic self, to trust their own capacity to heal, and I work with people to resource you and support you to feel safe in your own healing process. I work specifically around trauma, and we've all experienced trauma of one form or another, because trauma is just where we felt overwhelmed and unable to cope with a situation. And as children, that was happening quite often, even if it wasn't seemingly a traumatic experience. Like you might have got lost one day at the playground and you couldn't find your parents, or something might have happened at school where you felt like the kids ganged up on you, or your friends just suddenly disappeared and you suddenly felt like you're all alone. So all of these are just those small normal life things that happen to us when we can feel overwhelmed. So for me, and then our body stores that, and then we decide for ourselves, well, I'm not going to trust people anymore. I'm going to just do it on my own from now on. Or another coping mechanism, so we become really independent. Or another coping mechanism can be, I'm just going to be really good at everything, like I'm going to be super successful. Now that might sound like a positive thing, and it is. However, it can come from an experience that we've had of, I'm never going to feel ashamed again or let people ridicule me again. So then there's no flexibility to get it wrong. Like you might end up a perfectionist. The other thing with somatic work is I help people to really start to become more aware of what's going on in their body, so that then they can start to listen and understand what their body's trying to tell them, because your body is on your team. Your body wants and knows how to heal emotional pain. So I help people, in some ways it's almost too easy and too difficult at the same time, because when we get our mind out of the way, because our mind tries to fix everything, and trust our body, then we can reconnect with those experiences that we had without feeling overwhelmed. So that's some of the work that I do. And I work online. I don't work in person. I am traveling at the moment. I love living and working in different cultures, because we learn about different ways of thinking and ways of being as humans. So I'm really passionate about that. But I'm also really passionate about my work and passionate about helping you with your relationship with being comfortable in your own skin, being able to break patterns that you may feel a bit stuck in. I also do family constellation facilitation, so intergenerational trauma healing. So often the patterns that we have, that we find ourselves in when we look back at our ancestors, it's like, wow, they went through that too. That's amazing. How can I break that? Or how can I shift that? So family constellation work is also something I'm really passionate about. So it's been lovely to talk with you. And if you feel curious or interested, feel free to get in touch. Thank you. I'd love to meet you.